Alright, I wanted to make this video based on something I read from another X-Man, X-Woman, Jubilee, I call her. Nothing I read is by accident, you know. But what I read was very true. We were lied to and messed with for a long time. Since a young age, we were messed with. You know what I mean? In many ways, mentally, you name it. Especially if you were the scapegoat, and they can sense that you're not like them. You know what I mean? So they attack you in every way. But despite that, despite knowing you were lied to, despite all that, you know, it's still hard to remove the lies and keep moving forward with God, basically. Keep going forward with God, basically. It's very hard. It's like a daily exercise, fight of the mind. You know what I mean? Just like, okay, I'm going in a new direction. They were full of crap, and you know. But what sucks is like a lot of people, they were programmed with lies as well. So you're surrounded by people that were programmed with lies, and so it's hard to see how hard it is to navigate truth in this world and follow God's will. You know what I mean? It's interesting. You have to like fully trust God completely. You have to. You know what I mean? Which is something I struggle with still. I do. Trusting God 100%. It's something I still struggle with. And that He's good in the end. He's good. Those two things. And God knows that about me. And that's why that book, The Shack, was given to me. Because the character in that book didn't think God was good at all. And he didn't trust God at all. Kind of like me. I trust God more than I used to. But it's not full 100% trust, you know what I mean? So since my trust with God is not full 100%, that fight with the past is there. The lies of the past, you know? Like, were they right about me? Were they right? You know, the people that were lying around me, were they right? You know, you second guess. What's really confusing is the people that lied to you and, you know, messed with you. They taught God as well. They pretended to worship God as well. Abuse you 1 second, worship God the next second. You get what I mean? You know what I'm talking about. I know I do. I know what I'm talking about. Abuse you, next day, next second, we're watching our favorite TV show. You know, pray to God the next second, right after abusing me. You know what I'm talking about. I lived it as well. You know what I mean? And so, must never forget. But yeah. But it's hard, you know what I mean, to venture out in a new direction in life that you never thought you would go down. And in this new direction, you have to eliminate everything you were taught, pretty much, all the lies growing up. Just throw it out the window, you know. Take the good and leave the rest, I guess. And then you have to trust God every single day, 100%, that He will take care of everything around you, that it works out. Every single day. That's tough for a guy like me. You know what I mean? give all my control up, give it all to God, that he knows what he's doing. I don't even trust him 100%. See how this is nuts for me? I'm like I said before, I'm like a 70% believer in God. Like a 70%. Not 100%. God knows it, so I'm tentative still, I'm like, I hope God knows what he's doing, But so far it seems he has, been knowing how to help me, seems like. Because he knows most of this world is just spitting out lies. Constantly spitting out. That's the struggle. This world is spitting out lies constantly, constantly, constantly. It's a constant onslaught of lies. If you watch the television for like 2 seconds, you know what I'm talking about. Just lies right in your face. Lies, lies. It's constant onslaught, and that's the struggle. You were programmed for a long time with lies from this world. Lies, lies, lies. Except for the Jesus story. That surprised me, that the Jesus story was true. That surprised me. I was lied to that much. The Jesus story, that was true. That surprised me. No joke. So at least there's one true thing they were saying. One. Just one. The Jesus thing. That was the one true thing they were teaching. That's it. Yeah. But anyways. But despite that, I don't fully 100% trust God. Not yet. Not yet. He's proven a lot. He has. It's scary when something else out there knows you better than you know yourself, or what anybody else says about you. Something out there knows you even better. No joke. Yep. Yep. Yeah, something out there knows me way better than anybody else. That's why I have to ignore all the lies that were told to me, all the horrible things they were saying to me. God doesn't believe that at all. He sees me totally different than what they were saying. That's the struggle. I have to ignore what everyone said about me, everything, and just focus on what God thinks about me. You know what I mean? And hopefully he's a good man in the end. You know what I mean? But it's tough. It's a real struggle. The lies in your mind that you were taught constantly, lies, lies, lies. That's what I'm trying to counter it with truth, 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 as I keep going. God's giving me truth as I keep going. Truth, truth. See what I mean? But yeah, that is a struggle. You know what I mean? It's hard to fully overcome it. It's like a constant muscle, to push through and overcome lies and keep going. But anyways, that's all I want to say for this video. That was no accident that I read that. You know what I mean? You're pretty smart, Jubilee. I won't give you your name, but you're pretty smart. You've always been smart about how this, you know what I mean? Like this whole way, like from our birth, to now, you know exactly what's going on. Exactly what's going on. And what God's doing as well. How we were taught all these lies and treated a certain way, but God is countering it. And that was not true. God's countering it. He is. He's like, they were not telling you the truth. They were wrong about you. That's what God's doing as we speak with me and some of you. It's like, ignore what they said about you. Ignore it entirely. Ignore what the world is saying. That's what God's constantly doing with me. Just ignore them. They don't know what they're saying. You know what I mean? They're just spewing out lies constantly. That's why it's hard to know the truth in this world. It's hard to know the real, you know what I mean? Because you're like, oh, okay, that was truth. But then you have to keep going. You know what I mean? You verified truth, but you have to keep going. You know what I mean? Even though you verified the truth, you have to keep walking. You know what I mean? That's what I hate. I'm like, haven't I verified enough truth to get off this rock? Nope. Nope. That doesn't get you off this rock, just to know some truth. My lack of faith in myself, to the point where I'm trying to get God to get me out of here. I have no faith in myself. I have like 30% faith in myself. Like 30%. But yeah, I didn't read that by accident. Because it's true. That's part of the fight. Is that you're fighting against the lies, the brainwashing. You know what I mean? You are. Even though you escaped, you're still in the world, you know, that threw lies at you. You're still in the same world, you know. So it's a constant fight, because they're still trying to feed you lies. So it's a constant fight, constant. Pretty much since my earliest memories, it's been an onslaught on my mind, you know, with lies, 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 lies. I started out in a fake religion, lies right away, lies right away. You know what I mean? Lies right from the get-go, you know what I mean? It's harder than you think to unravel all the lies and get to the real truth. It's harder than you think. Even if you verified Jesus, still getting to the real truth, even more than that, like other stuff in the Bible being true, is a process as well. It is. It's like verifying Jesus as truth is the starting point. It is. It's like the starting point to discover other truth that Jesus knows. Jesus himself is the starting point of truth. At least for me, it was. He's, you know what I mean? So that's why I'm like, I hope Jesus knows what he's doing. So far, it seems like he does know what he's doing. Even when I think he doesn't know what he's doing, and I'm like, I don't trust you at all, he still knows what he's doing. It's interesting. You know what I mean? That's the fight. That's the fight. It is. I'm just saying, okay, Jesus, God, you know what you're doing. Just letting go and just be like, you know what you're doing. All right. And show me the way. Instruct me how you want, you know. But anyways, reading that was no accident. Yeah. You're one of the smartest persons on the team, for sure. Jubilee. Not many people know Jubilee. She's really soft-spoken, undercover, you know what I mean? But she knows her stuff. She knows her stuff. She knows. I get a lot of information from her. She proclaimed me the battle axe. That's how good she is. She proclaimed me the battle axe. That's how good she is. Straight up. She's on the ball. You know what I mean? I pay attention to each member of my team. I do. The main team that's helping me. I pay attention to each one because God talks through each one. He does. And he knows when I see each thing at certain times. He knows when I'll see certain things at certain times because he's walked my road. He knows when I'll see certain things to help me. And to help me now is true. I struggle with the past, the brainwashing, the programming, because they taught God. The psychopaths taught God. That's what makes it tough to trust God. It's because the psychopaths portrayed themselves as ultimate God followers. No joke. And like being total hypocrites in my face. That's what makes this a fight, a struggle. Because I said I would never become a man of God, but that's what God's trying to make me. I'm like, I'm never being like them. Never. I'm not going to converse with them, those type of people, nothing. You know what I mean? But God's forced me through that. He is. He's pushing me through that. He is. to sharpen the axe, iron sharpening iron, facing my fears over and over and over and over, facing my fears over and over and over until they're not a fear anymore. And I'm commanding the men of God like nobody else. You know what I mean? As if I'm Jesus commanding them. That's what God wants eventually. No joke. People think I'm joking. Nope. Nope. You have no idea how much I just want to go into fantasy land forever and not walk this road, okay? Wake up the next day, I'm like, this isn't a fantasy. I'm still walking this road for God. This isn't a fantasy. Like, dang it. It might be good that this is not a fantasy. The road God has me on. It might be a good thing that's not. Because God knows, I don't know. That's all I'll say. I've complained enough for you guys. I've complained enough. But FYI, the Battle Axe's birthday's coming up. If you feel the desire to donate for my birthday, that's up to you. I don't force you to do that. God knows it. But if you do, I'll be very grateful. God knows, like, I've been trying to get back on rhythm with my main job. Like I normally am on rhythm. But I got off kilter, Doing what God wants gets you off kilter. It does. With your rhythm, with work. Like fitting in what God wants me to do. And working, it gets me a little off kilter. It does. Because for a while there, this is true, for a while there, I wasn't really serving God. I wasn't doing what God wanted. I was just doing my job, being one after the other, being diligent with my job. I wasn't really focusing on helping God at all for a while. I didn't trust God that much, you know what I mean? I didn't. So now I'm trying to change it up to, because I know I need God's help, and it seems like He wants my help. I know it's strange, but both ways. So I'm trying this tandem thing. I am with Jesus, yoking to Jesus. He helps me. He pulls me. I help Him out over here, for Him, pretty much be somewhere He wants me to be. Then He helps me. It's like a back and forth tandem with. That's what it feels like with Jesus so far. Because I know I don't have a chance without His assistance. As much as I hate to admit it, and how much I want to say I'm better than Jesus, I can't do this without Him. Right? I admit it. I can't. I can't do it without Him. I can't walk this road without Him. I've never walked this road before. You know what I mean? He sees how this road goes, not me. But anyways, but it's a fight. I don't know if it's a fight for some of you, but probably. If you grew up in this world of lies, you struggle with the brainwashing of lies. Everything the world taught, put in your mind, you know what I mean? As important, basically, more important than God. Put all these things, and that's it. All these things of the world make it more important than God Himself. That's what they're doing. No joke. That's the agenda, I swear. That's the agenda. Is to divert you from God in every which way. Distraction. So you don't look up. You don't look up to the blue sky, to God. That's what they're doing. Look over here, look over there, look over here, look over there, instead of looking up to God Himself. But despite me knowing their tactics, it's still hard. I still have doubts. I still struggle with the lies. I still have lack of faith in God fully. It's still tough, It is. I admit it. The Battle Axe is not a perfect individual. said that from day one. Jesus may claim to be perfect, and he's backing it up. I'm not even close to that. You know what I mean? God knows. I didn't even think Jesus was perfect, so I had no one to look up to. You know, I didn't have anyone that was legit. You know what I mean? But I swear, eventually, he's gonna prove that he's funnier than me to everybody. Jesus is funnier than me? What? What? He's gonna prove it. I know it. He's gonna prove it for all to see that he's funnier than me. And there will go another thing that I'm not better than Jesus in humor. I'm not better than him. There will go another thing out the window. You know what I mean? Oh well. Oh well. Second best isn't bad. Second best isn't bad. You know. You're not second best. Oh, we'll see. We'll see who's second best by the end of all this. Who's second best? You know, we'll see. Yeah. Never doubt the battle axe. Never doubt the battle axe. You know what I mean? God didn't make that mistake. He has not made that mistake of doubting me. God has not made that mistake. Smart man. Smart God. He has not made that mistake. But he knows right now I'm struggling with what you're talking about, Jubilee. You know, with the brainwashing growing up, how I was treated growing up, what they said about me growing up, what they said to me growing up, everything. The onslaught still goes, even though you're away from it all. That's interesting. And God knows I discovered this. The onslaught that you survived, the total onslaught that you survived, goes on even after you're away. You're away from it all. The onslaught still goes on of what you lived through. It's true. God knows it as well. That's why that was shown to me today. But anyways, that's all I wanted to say for this video. I gotta go. But you're right. You're right. You're like the smartest. Yeah. You're probably one of the smartest people I know. Of the team, you're like the smart one, you know? It's almost like we live the same life, you and me. We live the same life, but in a different upbringing, you know, a different environment. Same scenario type of thing, though. No joke. Yeah, you understand it all more than I do. You help me understand what God was doing with it all. You're helping me understand it all. You know what I mean? Because to me, it didn't make any sense. It was just a cruel joke on me. It seemed like it was just a cruel joke on the scapegoat battle axe. The whole thing was just a joke on me. You know, God was just watching it up. That's what I thought. So your input helps. You know what I mean? Of how this goes down, how things went down, and why it went down. Anyways, it was to help God in the end, as I feared. All my suffering was to help God in the end. Okay. Oh well. Oh well. Yeah. Anyways, I gotta